The case I am going to tell about today may be quite unpleasant for some of you, so if you continue, you do so at your own risk. On the 25th of November 1988, Furuta was on her bike and riding home from her part-time job at an electronics retailer. Hiroshi Miyano told his friend, Nobuharu Minato, to kick Furuta off her bike and run away. Miyano then asked to escort Furuta to her house. Miyano instead took Furuta to an abandoned warehouse where he raped and beat her. He told her that he had connections to the Yakuza, knew where her family lived, and would kill them if she told the police. Miyano took Furuta to a hotel where he, along with Minato, Jay Ogura, and Yasushi Watanabe, were waiting, and all took turns raping her. They had recently also done this to another girl. They took Furuta to Minato's parents' house. They held her there for 42 days. After 3 days missing, Furuta's mother was working with the police to try and find her. Her captors knew this and forced Furuta to call her parents to tell them she ran away and to not look for her. Minato's brother and parents knew a girl was in the house. The captors tried to say that Furuta was a girlfriend to one of them, but they didn't believe them. Minato's brother and parents didn't care, saying they were too scared because of Minato's anger, his Yakuza ties, and their reputation. The captors later gave up on their story. The captors would brag to their friends about keeping Furuta captive. They would invite people over to also rape Furuta. At least 30 people did this. It's believed that over 100 people did this by the end, 500 different times, with up to 12 different men in a day. Due to dehydration, Furuta would vomit, which caused the captors to become angry and beat her even more. They fed her water, milk, and her own urine due to not being able to control her bladder because of how badly they beat her. They also forced her to eat live cockroaches. They would force her to be naked most of the time, putting her in a freezer and making her sleep on the balcony in cold weather. After 20 days, she couldn't walk. They would dump lighter fluid on her legs, set her on fire, and crush her hands with dumbbells. During a night where her captors got drunk, Furuta tried to escape. She crawled downstairs and tried to call the police, but Miyano found her, took the phone, and told the police that he called the wrong number. They set her on fire, put her head on concrete, and stomped on it. After a while, they had beaten her so badly that they didn't find her attractive anymore, so they used the same plan they had before to rape another 19-year-old. They hung her to the ceiling fan by her wrists and used her as a human punching bag, naked. They would force her to masturbate and dance naked in front of guests. They shoved objects such as a lit match, metal pole, knives, and wood up her vagina and anus. On the 4th of January 1989, after a defeat in Mahjong, Minato and the boys were angry, so they beat and burned her for 2 hours. Furuta would go into shock and died the next day. Minato's brother phoned him to tell them of her death, so they rushed to the house. They put Furuta's body in a 55-gallon oil drum and filled it with concrete. They dumped the drum at a construction site in Katu. After being questioned about the rape of the 19-year-old, Hiroshi got confused and thought they were talking about Furuta. He thought that the other boys had told police about her. So he told police about what happened to Furuta and told them where her body was. They had to identify her by fingerprints because her face was so badly beaten. The autopsy also revealed that she was pregnant. After being told about the details of her murder, Furuta's mother fainted and was entered into a psychiatric hospital. The Japanese police didn't reveal their names because they were underage, but Shuriken Bunshin, a Japanese magazine, found and leaked their names, saying that they were inhuman and didn't deserve human rights. They were first going to be trialed as juveniles, but it was later decided that they would be trialed as adults because of public backlash. They got light sentences. They were not charged with murder, instead being charged with causing bodily injury resulting in death. Hiroshi got 17 years, but it was later upgraded to 20 after an appeal. Nato got 5 to 7 years, Watanabe got 9 years, and Jay got 8 years. After being released, Minato changed his name to Shinji and was later arrested for the attempted murder of a businessman. Jay changed his name to Jay Kamasaku. He bragged about Furuta's murder. Jay's father felt shame and said that he would give his entire life savings to Furuta's family. Jay took the money and spent it on himself instead. Jay's mother blamed Furuta for ruining her son's life and allegedly vandalized Furuta's tombstone. I hope you found the story interesting. Sorry for the brutal stuff. Also, thank you very much for the 18 subscribers.